What is up, you guys? It is really hot in here, so I'm just waiting for it to cool off a little bit. And, yeah, sorry. So, yesterday I had a video up, and, it was kind of like a very short video, and there was supposed to be a whole long rant in it, but it got cut out because I realized the rant, it was too close to home. Like, it was a rant about, like, you know, people in my life, and I realized after having a few conversations recently that, like, more people watch these videos than I realized. So, like, I don't want to expose anybody or, like, make anyone embarrassed. Not that you would know if I'm talking about anyone, but, like, it could be that, let's say I see someone and I have a thought and it, like, pops off a rant in my mind. Like, it could be that that person is actually watching these videos, and I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, because a lot of these thoughts are really just passing, and they're not, like, it's not as much a judgment on you, the person that I had the thought about, as it is more just myself, like, having a thought. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if that makes sense. But so that, based on that, and then also I had, like, a bunch of, you know, interactions with friends that I vlogged, but then I can't use any of those vlogs, because what I'm realizing is, like, none of these people are going to want to be in my vlogs. So the only way to really vlog is to vlog in expat communities. And I know it sounds really silly the way I'm saying this, but, like, you know, just realistically, like, who do you know in America, who do I know, like, that actually wants to be in my vlogs, other than, like, maybe one or two people that don't speak English? Nobody wants to be in my vlogs. Nobody wants me to expose them hanging out with me. Nobody wants me to, like, expose their apartment building when I go hang out with them or whatever. You know what I mean? So really, you know, it might, at face value, it might seem crazy, like, oh, Pardis, you're going off the deep end, you're going to Mexico, you're going to Latin America, you're going to live in these expat communities, like, you're crazy. But, like, is it really crazy, though? Because it really just solves all these problems. It solves the problem of it solves the efficiency, like, it solves the cost issue of living in the United States while, you know, I'm doing this stuff. It solves the cost issue of, like, everything, all these relaxation and food and all these things and then also it solves the problem of, like, well, it's more fun and you get to live on the beach for super cheap and hang out with and be traveling and see the world. And it solves the vlogging problem, which is, and these places all have high-speed internet. That's the other cool thing about a lot of these new expat communities. Because they're new and they're modern, like, they actually happen to be more efficient and high internet, like, better than the United States. Because a lot of these, you know, like, here, you know, you're paying, like, really high rent, or let's say, or you're paying really high fees, or, you know, cost of food for a place that has been around for a long time. Maybe they don't even have Wi-Fi, or if they do have Wi-Fi, it's very bad. But in some of these hostels that I visited in Mexico, they have fiber, you know, because that's the new thing. Every new build is using fiber internet. So, you know, that's just one example. And then the vlogging, it's just like nobody who's traveling cares about being caught in your vlog. So I don't have to worry as much about what I say. I don't have to worry as much about, like, what I film. And so all these factors go into, and I don't like to be private. I like to be public. I enjoy being public, and that's just my thing. I feel safer when I'm public. I don't like secrets. I really don't like secrets. I don't like hiding because of people. I don't like being around other people too much that are into hiding too much, because then I end up having to be stuck back in the dark space because of them, and I end up having to keep secrets because of them, and then I can't vlog because of them. Because, like, let's say someone says, hey, don't tell anybody that I'm hanging out with you, or don't tell anybody that and so what ends up happening is all this time that there's just gaps in my vlogging because I couldn't vlog while I was with that person, because I didn't want to show that I'm in the same place that they were. And then, so, like, Does that make sense? So like all this stuff makes me realize that, yeah, going and moving to Mexico is a great idea because of all these things. There's usually an issue that is behind your anxiety. And a lot of this vlog is really just me trying to like discover those issues. It's an overthinking vlog, but there's no such thing as overthinking. Like, there's nothing wrong with constantly looking for solutions to things, because I think the current like American trend is people are in the habit of not looking for solutions. They just accept that like some people are just crazy. Everyone's issue is that either they're crazy or the next person is crazy, or, you know, we're all crazy. But like, what if you're not crazy? What if you don't just have crazy anxiety because you're crazy? What if there's a reason for things? You know, what if you're unhappy about something and there's a solution for that thing, but for whatever reason you are too tired to try and find the solution, or the next person is also too tired to try and find a solution, so you just rather think like, okay, we're just crazy. There's usually a solution to things. And like, when I think long and hard enough, my anxiety usually has a root. There's usually a trigger, a root. It always goes back to some kind of childhood thing, which is how I know that my anxiety could be chronic if I don't like really deal with like a lot of childhood stuff. But there is a trigger. There are certain things that I could avoid, certain triggers I could avoid, certain things I could address with people. And if they're not willing to address those things with me, then they're part of the problem. Because if I could go through life without having this issue, I find that I've had this issue a lot with people that I was dating, where like I would be like, yeah, like I'm feeling anxious about this. Like I don't want to do this or that because I'm feeling anxious. And then be like, the guy would be like, yeah, well, that's your problem then. You're feeling anxious. It's like, well, it's still a problem. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just not be me? Like, this is a problem. So either you're going to have to, you know, deal with the fact that I don't want to do X because of my anxiety, because of my fears, because of whatever it is, or you just have to get out because you're not willing to deal with the solution. You're just gonna call me crazy, and you're just gonna call me like, you know what I mean? And I think that's like a thing that I struggle with, like being around other people, because like when I'm with myself, I'm always thinking and I'm always trying to find like a solution. Like, at least with myself, like I feel safe in knowing that like me, Pardes, you know, I'm not the smartest person ever, which is why I have so much unresolved anxiety that I don't know about. But at least I feel safe and secure in myself that I'm going to figure it out. You know, I'm much less anxious than I was a few years ago, maybe, because I'm just always willing to discover and explore and figure it out. But other people aren't. Other people are really not. They would much rather give me a pill, tell me to just shut up and forget about it. They would much rather push it under the rug. They would much rather like chalk it up to like, yeah, just get married, you know, just get married already. It's like, no, like I know, you know, the more I think, the more I discover like things that are, and these vlogs are a big part of that. And so yeah, thanks for going on this overthinking journey with me. And I think another thing, so that other video, there was a whole rant in it, and it was related, it was a sex related rant. And I was just saying that like most of the people I know are not happy in their relationships, and when you ask them like, why aren't you happy, they'll say like, oh, I'm just crazy, like I just don't enjoy sex. And the women will say that I'm just crazy. Either the women will say, oh, I have anxiety issues, I have mental issues, or I have body issues, I don't enjoy sex. And then the guys will say the same thing about their female partners. They'll say, oh, she has body issues, she can't enjoy sex, she has issues, she has mental issues. And so everybody will just chalk it up to like, or like we just aren't into each other anymore. And like, so there's no real reason, like there's no real problem solution. There's always just some kind of crazy mental issue or some kind of like, and you could tell that there's just no problem solving happening there because nobody is thinking. Like everyone is just like, and everyone is doing drugs, and including myself, you know what I mean? Because it's just so much easier to just do drugs and eat pill, have a gummy, drink alcohol, rather than actually face the problem, find a solution. You're having stress. There's a reason for your stress. There's a reason for all these problems. There's a reason why your girlfriend or you as a female are not enjoying sex. There's a reason that you are having these panic attacks and these freakouts. There is a reason that you are crazy. There's a reason for that. Maybe instead of putting a bandage and drinking it out, you can think about it a little bit. Maybe vlog, like this vlog, go to therapy. I mean, therapy is literally the same thing. It's you're thinking through these things. It's and I'm so tired of people saying it's overthinking or whatever. Like, that's just laziness. There's always a solution, and you just got to think. And it's like with these women, a lot of times, like and that's what the rant was going to be about, that I didn't end up posting. But like the rant was basically about how like so many women that I know, it's really hot. The rant was basically about how so many women that I know are very unhappy in their relationships because they're not getting their needs met, and they're expecting so much more that their partner doesn't have, but they just don't. They've already started having they've already started like having sex with that guy, so they feel like attached to him. So like instead of so they just feel like stuck and attached to that situation, and the guys are getting what they need, so they're not really like, they're not motivated to like improve the situation. So basically like these women are just with and the thing is, like, we women know that if we were to say like, fuck you, guy, like, I'm not gonna have sex with you until you fix this issue, because you fixing this issue is gonna make me more relaxed, which means that I'm gonna enjoy sex more. Women know that if they were to say that to their partners, the guy would say, okay, well then I can get sex somewhere else, because there's so many women that are willing to give it to me. So the only way to really effectively deal with these issues as a woman, in my opinion, as someone who has had sex, the only way to effectively deal with these issues is to just not have sex with anybody. And like, I know that sounds scary and you're gonna end up being alone, and I am alone all the time, but trust me when I say it is much more rewarding than being in a situation where you feel stuck and you're with a guy that you are not 100% attracted to, that you're not 150% ready to right now come. Because once you start having sex, like, you're essentially locking that person into complacency. And it's not true necessarily for everybody. Like, I know a lot of a lot of partnerships have like a back and forth, and there is kind of like this, you know, with a lot of women and male partners, there is a healthy, like, you know, sense of motivating each other. But in most relationships that I see, like really most relationships that I see, and marriages and relationships, I just notice women that are very eager to pair bond. So they'll go for guys that are not really 150% what they need, because they just don't know anybody better. And so they would much rather have someone than nobody. But I think this just perpetuates a culture of losers. And frankly, I would rather be alone and die alone than be with someone that I don't consider the absolute king. So that's just me. I don't want to be with a king, or I want to die alone. I don't want to be with anyone less than that. So like, and I don't want sex to be anything less than that. So like, that's a personal choice. But I do think that like, if you are having issues in your relationship, it's not like, oh no, the fire's, oh no, like, it's not like, oh no, like, this is just how it's going to be forever. Like, there's always an underlying problem, and there's always a way to solve it if you actually want to. Maybe you just don't want to. Anyway, that was a really long rant. Hope it connected to somebody out there on some level. But either way, I hope it didn't offend anybody, and I love you guys. If you're watching this video, I love you for watching it, and I will see you in the next one.